Continuing on page 3, House Bill 802 is an act approved by the General Assembly relating to the Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act, enforcement by localities. The governor's veto is available to everyone online and is now before the body.
The delegate from Newport News, Delegate Price.
Yes, speaking to the veto, Mr. Speaker.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. In current law, when there's a slumlord who has been negligent in the health and safety standards of the Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act, localities have one of two choices. They can sue and the landlord can be fined, or they can condemn the property. Neither of those two options get to fixing the problems to help the actual tenant. House Bill 802 was a unique opportunity to help some tenants around the Commonwealth get the help that they need, to protect them against their slumlords by empowering localities to sue them for the actual repairs and fixes needed to make their homes safe and healthy. We worked diligently with stakeholders that are often on opposite sides of housing issues. We had support from those that were advocating for landlords and tenants, and we had votes from both Republicans and Democrats for this important legislation. My time here in the General Assembly has gotten me to a point, Mr. Speaker, where I'm rarely shocked by what people do or say. But I have to tell you, a lot of people back home were shocked by this veto. And I think the most shocking part about the veto is just how inaccurate and flat out wrong the governor's veto statement is. First, he says this is the first time localities would have this power, but then one of the rationales that he gives for vetoing it is that they already have the power. This is what we're up against. Nonsensical rationale for killing bipartisan legislation that could have helped thousands of Virginians across the Commonwealth. And no amount of partisan wordsmithing after I speak here today is going to make the governor's veto statement factual. The governor also says it is neither clear why this language is necessary, nor what the additional language contained in the legislation seeks to accomplish. Well, Mr. Speaker, one phone call and I could have cleared it up, but I was not given that courtesy or opportunity. One phone call to any of the lawyers that are in court every day on housing issues, and they could have cleared it up. One phone call to any of the 40 organizations that supported this legislation, and they could have cleared it up. One phone call to the tenants that are pleading with us to do something to help them, and it could have cleared it up because their voices are the most important. They understand fully what the governor seems to miss, that under current law and regulations, there is no option for localities to sue landlords for the actual fixes the tenants need outside of the fire code. They understand this because, Mr. Speaker, they are the ones that are living in these homes at the mercy of the slumlords who month after month cash their rent checks but refuse to make the needed changes so that these human beings can have safe and sanitary housing. The governor said landlords should be held accountable for unsafe and hazardous living conditions in which tenants live. Period. He could have stopped there. But sadly, Mr. Speaker, this is another example of where the governor's words and actions do not match up. Make this veto make sense for those in Aqua Vista, Seaview Lofts, Columbia Gardens Apartments, Southern Towers, Southwood Apartments, Marshall Courts, and so many others across the state. This veto chose their slumlords over them and their families. This veto chose rats, mice, roaches, leaky roofs, mold, mildew, broken doors, dangerous playground equipment over their kids' ability to be safe in their homes. In a statement released by the governor on April 11th, the governor said, "My goal as governor is to make Virginia the best place to live, work, and raise a family. And the bills I vetoed today reaffirmed that commitment. He accidentally said the quiet part out loud. He told the truth about these partisan, factually inaccurate, and harmful vetoes because it was bills like this one that would have lived up to his commitment, not his veto. This bill was a direct response to constituent concerns and would have helped a lot of people. The people that we took an oath to serve. We will go home tonight or tomorrow and we'll lay down. And those of us in this room will probably never have to worry about some of these issues. These tenants just want that same right. They just want to lay down at night in a safe home. We can help them. You have a choice right now, and I urge you to vote with working families that just want their landlords to live up to their side of the lease. I am contesting this veto, and I urge you to vote yes to override it and give families the relief that they need. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.